For those who don't know me, I'm Aaron Standish. I am the K-12 Financial Literacy Program Planner. The reason you see me doing this is because I largely do a lot of the support for the career planning aspect. And the reason I do the support for the career planning aspect is that typically a lot of the standards and benchmarks of the career planning and education are very similar to some of our financial literacy standards. So because of that, I've always offered, obviously many of you know Fertilise Henry, our 6 through 12 social studies program planner. She also helps tremendously support this. But I typically do a lot of the preparation of material in terms of what you're going to do with the students and in terms of our training and things like that. So I do personal finance for kindergarten all the way up through 12th grade, which we now have a required course in high school for those of you who didn't know that, for personal finance, which is great. So that's why I'm on this. For those of you, like I said, I know I see some similar names on this training, so I know I've worked with several of you in the past. And so before I turn it over to Sophia, hopefully you'll have a chance if you need to ask me some questions along the way. Really, all I want to emphasize with this is, we've really worked hard over the summer and into the beginning of this year to really ensure this was as seamless of a sort of for you to be able to apply this in your class as possible. We've tried to really separate activities that you, the teacher, do versus activities that the guidance counselor you should be partnering with comes in and does. This requirement, as you probably know, comes from the DOE. This is not a county local requirement. This is a DOE requirement. I also want to emphasize, while for most of you, it should be being done in 8th grade. That's the idea. So sometimes we refer to 8th grade teachers. The reality is that we know at a lot of schools, or at some schools it may differ. The reality is really it's just any teacher that has a course coded as and career planning is where this is required. So that is supposed to be in 8th grade, which is either US history or world history, depending on some schools are on different progressions right now. Not all schools have switched their progression. But for some of you who might be offering something else, you may be a 6th or 7th grade teacher doing an and career planning course. So just know that. And some of the documentation says, hey, this is an 8th grade lesson, a 7th grade lesson. You can kind of ignore that. This is a lesson for you because you're teaching an and career planning course. So that's just kind of what I want to emphasize. And I also want to emphasize that this should truly be a partnership between you, the classroom teacher, and the guidance counselor. If you've yet to reach out to your guidance team, I highly suggest reaching out to I'm not sure who the guidance member would be at your school who's responsible, but it's they should know. They've had a lot of training as well. Sophia's done a lot of training for the guidance counselors as well. They're doing a different piece than you are. You're doing the lessons in Xello, which we've sort of selected based on what the requirements are from the state. So we've selected those, and Sophia's going to show you, you put them real easy in the Xello program. You can just boom, 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 go right through them. And then the guidance counselors are supposed to come in, and they're supposed to talk about high school graduation requirements, Florida Bright Futures, the Florida University system. Those are things we know that you're not really an expert on, but the guidance counselors should be. So that's all I wanted to come on here to sort of specify and sort of make sure that you understood that difference, because we still get some questions about who is supposed to do what. So turn it over to Sophia. Does anybody have any generic questions like that in terms of who versus the classroom teacher and the guidance counselor should be doing what? You can either put in chat or unmute yourself and ask it. We don't have a large group.
All right, I think we're good to go. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you, Aaron, for that. So my name is Sophia. I'm going to be your training specialist today. I work for Xello, Florida's new college and career life readiness platform, which is going to help you all fulfill those statewide requirements that you have to do in that career planning course. So we're going to get started with Xello, an introduction for you all for 6 to 12 and for your specific classes in that career planning area. Okay, So why are we here? So by the end of this interactive session, you will understand the student experience of using your own Sandbox account or just watching from for now. And you will learn effective ways to get your students started on Xello, how to navigate the educator tools to gain insight on your students as well. We will be touring that student experience. We'll be exploring the Xello lessons, which is going to be the most important part for y'all. And then we're going to navigate some of those educator tools. I do have some hands-on time for y'all throughout this presentation as well. I'll go over some resources, next steps, and I'll take some Q&A. Since this is a smaller group, you can definitely unmute your mic if you have a question, if you'd like me to slow down. Totally okay with doing any of those things, all right? All right. So first and foremost, I do have a video introducing Xello to you all. So we're going to go ahead and watch that first, and then we're going to jump in.
You're juggling a lot as a student. Between school and the rest of your life, there's so much to think about. And looming large on that list is your future. You know your future is important, but it can also be hard to imagine. That's where Xello can help. Xello is all about your future and can help you create a map to get there. You'll start by thinking about who you are today. What do you like to do? What do you not like to do? What are you good at? Who you are today can give you clues about who you might become. Next, get ready to explore what options are out there. Explore beyond what you know, beyond your town or city, beyond the jobs of people you know, beyond jobs you've ever heard about. Follow your curiosity from a favorite subject to a related job, to a job related to that job, to all the pathways you could take to get there. You may end up somewhere completely unexpected. Time management, job interviews, career biases, money. You'll learn about these topics and lots more. Plus, you'll be able to use this kind of knowledge to help you make decisions along the way. When you find a path you might want to take, use Xello to create a map, a plan that you can follow into your future. Exploring pathways and updating your plans can keep you motivated, focused, and excited. And completing steps towards those plans can give you a feel-good boost to keep you going. Turns out, thinking about your future can be pretty fun, but you may have moments where it feels overwhelming. In those moments, remember, everything can change. You can change your mind, you can change your plans, you can change, and Xello will be there to change right along with you.
All right. So that was just a little quick video introducing, and I do want to dive into the actual program with y'all. And of course, like I told you before, you're going to go through your Palm Beach portal. And if not, you can just take my little shortcut through Xello.world. All right, so we're gonna be going through your educator demo account, and the demo account is basically there for every educator in order for you all to hop into the student experience and show the students how to navigate or how to go through Xello through a fake account. Anything that you do on this account will not affect any of your student data at all, all right? So I do wanna show you what it looks like. And this is what the view that you will see once you are logged into Xello. This is your educator dashboard. I am logged in as a Palm Beach, the district side, but I usually like to go into Emerald Cove Middle. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that really quickly. Some of you will not have the option of 2 drop downs. You only have the option of 1 because it already has you placed in your school. I'm just going to click on 8th grade. You can go ahead and pick on any grade level that you serve. That's totally fine. I'm picking on 8th just so I can show all of the grade levels. To get into your demo student account, what you're going to go ahead and do, click on the grade level, then you're going to click View as Student. So just to repeat, what you're going to do, you're going to sign into your Xello Educator dashboard here. You're going to go and look on your right side. You will see a drop-down menu for the grade level. You'll pick the grade level that you serve, and then you're going to click View as Student. When you click View as Student, you will see another window open up for you. And this is going to be the view that your students will be going into in Xello to complete some of those lessons. And I just want to go ahead and ask for a number 1 in the chat if you're able to get in. Just want to make sure everyone is in the same place as me. So I will be checking throughout the presentation just to make sure that everyone's in the same space. All right. All right. Okay. So you're going to go ahead and see a greeting here with your name on it. You will also see the lessons that your students will be completing in Xello. On the left side here, you will see at the top of our dashboard, we have our ribbon. The ribbon includes the About Me section of Xello, the Explore Options section of Xello, and then we have the Plans area of Xello. And the plans is where the counselors or the guidance counselors will go ahead and create that academic career plan with the students. And I will be giving you a preview just to show you all how you're setting them up for success on their part of what they have to do when you all are helping the students, complete the lessons, all right? So here on the dashboard, some other things to note. The About Me is also connected here at the bottom, a little bit to your right. These pillars correlate with this section here. The About Me is where the students will get to learn more about themselves. They'll take the research-based assessments. They will be able to be matched to all 600 plus careers within Xello. They'll be able to learn about their skills and interests as well. Then we have Explore Options. In the Explore Options area, this is where your students will be able to start exploring those careers that they're matched to, looking up schools, looking up majors as well. And we have a Save Options area, which is right here. And it is also at the top right where this little heart is next to the profile pic. This is where your students will be able to look at the saved schools, the saved majors, saved careers that they want to look into. And then Goals and Plans, which is also the plans area, is where your students will be able to create that 4 years of academic planning or course planning. And this is also where you all can help with career planning with the students as well. Okay, here at the bottom, we have portfolios. Portfolio is a section where the students can actually create and bring out their creativity. Some of our subject area teachers are using the portfolios as a assignment or a tool in the classroom. One of the cool things about the portfolio, just to give you guys a little preview, show you some samples here, is that students can use these portfolios in their classes. For example, one of the portfolios that we have here is a student looking into wanting to be a carpenter. They created this portfolio, which includes personalized information that they have gone in and put into Xello, including those research-based assessments, for example, what they got in their personality style, some of their desired skills, some of the careers that they saved. So a lot of students also use these, or a lot of educators also use these in their classroom to do projects as well. So just to give you an example of what the portfolios are like, all right? I'm gonna go ahead and head back. At the bottom here, we have a surveys area, and this is where educators can make surveys for students to take. They can even use these surveys as tests. We have assignments. Assignments are where you as educators can also create assignments for the students. These are totally different from lessons, by the way. I'm going to be going over that a little bit more in depth, a lot more in depth, actually. And then we have links and resources. This is where your district, you as educators can go ahead and add links for the students, quick links for the students to different areas or subjects. So as you can see, Palm Beach does have high school graduation requirements, Bright Futures student handbook, and the district website as a quick link that you have already put in. You as educators can go ahead and put in some links possibly for your students as well. Now, on the left-hand side, this is where those lessons that you have to complete with your students reside, okay? So I do want to click into these lessons just so they can see. You will also see the grade level that you sign into, and all of these lessons are in order of what the district wants you, in the way that your district wants you to complete them, okay? So for example, 8th grade, we have decision making as the first lesson. When you click into any of these lessons here, you will be able to see the amount of time it will take for the student to complete the lesson. You'll also be able to see a little preview of what's going on in the lesson as well. All the students have to do is click get started to start on those lessons. I do want to show you some of the other lessons as well through the other grade levels. When you click view all, you will only see it if you're in the 8th grade and 7th grade. By the way, if you're in 6th grade, you won't see the view all button. It will just show the 6th grade lessons. If you scroll down, these are the 7th grade lessons. You see 3 of them are available for you. And then you'll see the 6th grade lessons. These are the 3 that 6th grade career planning teachers will be doing, okay? So I just wanted to give you a nice little view of the lessons before we dig a little bit more deeper into what is required of you all right? So 6th grade, you guys have 3 lessons, 7th grade, 3 lessons, and then 8th grade, of course, has mostly all the important lessons, because the students have to complete every single one of these lessons in order to meet that graduation requirement to go on to the 9th grade, okay? Does anyone have any questions? I do want to take a little quick pause before I go any further. And like I said, feel free to unmute. I'm totally okay with that. All right.
I just have a quick clarification, Sophia, just sort of to what I said at the beginning, that what represented grade 8 there was those of you who teach the and career planning course. So like I said at the beginning, while it should be in 8th grade that you're doing the and career planning course, some schools have deviated from that plan. So even if you like are a 6th grade teacher, if you teach an and career planning course, you're the one teaching the required, then you have to do those required courses. I just wanted to clarify that.
Yes. That is correct. That is correct. So I'll reiterate that anyone who is at this training, the 8th grade lessons are the ones that you're going to be doing, because these are the lessons that are needed for the student in order for them to move on to the 9th grade. Correction. Thank you for that, Erin. All right. So moving on, I do want to take you back to the slide deck really quickly. I did go over the pillars with you all, and there are different ways for the student to go ahead and explore and go into everything in Xello. We do have the lessons, which is one of the key things we're going to be paying attention today, and then also that self-paced exploration, because these 2 things actually correlate with the lessons and the prerequisites that go with the lessons. So I do want to go over some of those prerequisites with you as we go through the actual training as well, okay? So first things first is some of those prerequisites. So one of the prerequisites is taking those research-based assessments, and some of those research-based assessments will open up lessons for your students to complete. So for example, completing that matchmaker assessment, which gives the student their initial career matches. Then we have personality style, which is the second assessment that opens up after they complete the first matchmaker. Then the last one will be mission complete, which fine-tunes those career matches. Then another one that you may possibly want to do with your students is learning styles. And the learning styles basically just goes over with the student their learning styles and gives them strategies, tips on how to do better in the classroom. Skills Lab is only for our high school, so you don't have to worry about that. And I do want to talk about some of those prerequisites, like I was telling you before. A prerequisite can be taking the matchmaker assessment, which we're actually going to be doing as an activity. And then we have, of course, the personality styles, mission complete. Saving careers can also be a prerequisite for a lesson. And the reason why the prerequisites are there is to allow the students to explore Xello, and also because everything that they're doing in that About Me section, in the Explore Options section, will actually appear in those lessons. So for example, when a student is matched to a career, they possibly got maybe lawyer, and then one of the prerequisites could be liking an actual career that you're interested in. So they would like lawyer, they would go ahead and take some of those lessons. So for example, career pathways lesson, that career will show up in the actual lesson to personalize each lesson to each student's choices, okay? I do see, yes. So do they have to complete the About Me before they start the lesson? Yes, we definitely recommend that they complete the About Me section before they start the lesson, and I'll go over why with you all here. So in the Xello student side, the About Me section is where the students will be going first. We definitely recommend that they go ahead and take the Matchmaker assessment and any other assessment, insert some of their skills and interests into Xello as well. That these are also prerequisites for lessons as well. We do recommend that. And it is also in your actual activities and lessons for teachers and school counselor. I know that this was given out to you all in advance. So for example, as you can see, as a teacher responsibility, as a career planning teacher, well, the first thing you're gonna go ahead and do, I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger because even I can't see it too much. So one of the first things you're gonna go ahead and do is the About Me lesson with your student. And Erin has gone ahead and even plotted out the times that it will take for you to complete them and any additional resources and videos that you may need. So this will definitely be your North Star that you will go to in order to help the students complete each one of those lessons. So the first thing you're going to go ahead and do is go to the About Me section. And if you click on this hyperlink here, it will actually take you to the lesson, okay? So it will take you to the lesson to guide your students on what to do first. The lesson's length is around 40 to 50 minutes. Usually some people can definitely get through this a little bit quicker, depending on, how you plan on doing the lesson in your classroom. I'm just gonna make this a little bit bigger just so you can see. The first thing you're gonna do is an introduction to the About Me. So you will be able to go through this lesson plan for yourself and with your students. We even have prompts, inquiry prompts that you can actually do as you go through the lesson with your students. So just to give you an example of how you can do it in a classroom, in whole group setting, if you'd like, have the students sign into Xello. They'll be able to sign in through single sign-on as well. Go ahead, and we do have other resources, which I'm going to show you as well. But in that resource that Erin has made out for you all, we have this video. One of the things that you can definitely do is have the students sign into Xello, introduce them to Xello through this video here, and then go ahead and start them on this lesson. You can, of course, start them off by letting them know what the actual learning objectives are, and then you can ask this inquiry question to them. How can understanding myself shape how I think about the future? So this could be a nice little introduction to the actual lesson. Have a discussion with your students in the classroom. We even have some tasks that you would do before you actually begin doing the actual lesson, some teaching strategies for you all, and then the actual introduction to the lesson and what you will have your students do in Xello. So for example, having them go in and adding a skill, adding an interest, doing the matchmaker assessment. So this should be your the first thing that you do according to this planning document that you have here. And of course, as you can see, the decision making is the next one that you would do, and it aligns with the lessons here, decision making. All right, does anyone have any questions about that?
Sophia, can I just make one point?
Yes.
Can you go back to the spreadsheet?
Yes, I definitely can.
Yeah, so just to clarify, so you see two different types in the column labeled type. You're going to see either where it says self-paced module. So in that case, it's just, and like Sophia showed you, that Xello put them in order that we asked them to put them in. In that case, the student just has to log in and complete that self-paced module on their own. And then you see the other ones that say teacher-led. And those are what Sophia showed you, where you click on that link. And by teacher-led, it's really just you have to point them in the right direction in Xello of where they have to do something. That's basically what it means by teacher-led. It's not like an actual module that they go through. It's just like you have to say to the student, okay, hey, go to the go to the interest portion and complete X, Y, and Z. So that's the difference between those two different types.
Okay. All right, thank you for that clarification. And like I said, this is an additional resource. Yes, it is a self-paced module because this actual lesson does not have a prerequisite, which is also indicated here. So if you would like, you can definitely just have the students press get started and then start this specific lesson as well, okay? So what we're going to go ahead and do now, as we're going through everything, I do want to take you through that about me. For those of you who have access to Xello right now, it would be great if you can go ahead and take that matchmaker assessment. So I do want to give you like 3 to 5 minutes to see how the matchmaker assessment is and how to answer those questions and see what your students will actually be doing within Xello. So I do want to give you 3 to 5 minutes to do that first. And then we're going to go ahead and move on and talk about the other sections within Xello. And we'll even go ahead and take, and we'll even start a lesson as well. All right. So while you are taking those matchmaker assessments, so I will review a couple of them for you just so you can see what it's looked like as well. So when you take the matchmaker assessment, it will look a little bit like this. I'm going to go ahead and reset mine just so that you can actually see. So here is what it will look like. It will ask you some questions when you launch it. Your students will answer some of these questions or one of these questions. They'll say maybe they're not sure. Start the matchmaker. Once the student starts that matchmaker assessment, they will be able to see is going to ask them situational questions depending on a specific career or aspects of careers. And they will say whether they like it very much or dislike it very much on a 5-point scale. The students can also see if in case they don't understand what the actual question is asking them, they can click on this little question mark here and it will give them a little description. They will answer all 39 questions. So I'm going to make it really quickly here. I'm just going to randomly answer those questions, but your students will select those answers. I'm going to do it really quickly just so that you all can see what I mean. And of course, they're going to be answering it purposefully, unlike what I'm doing right now. And once your students are finished taking that matchmaker assessment, they will be matched to specific careers. So as you can see, I finished that matchmaker assessment. Now your student will be able to see, I'm going to go back to that about me. They'll be able to see their top career choices that were taken based off of those responses. What is the login credentials? So it should be your email and of course a password, but that is if you have reset it through Xello.world. If you're going through single sign-on, you don't need anything but your single sign-on login through your Palm Beach portal. And then anyone who is finished with the matchmaker, you can go ahead and give me a 2 in the, you can go ahead and give me a 2 in the chat and then we'll move on. Okay, Katie, okay. All right, I'll give 1 more minute to anyone else who's still completing that matchmaker. And of course, you can always let us know what your career matches were as well. So Katie and Julie, if you'd like, you can definitely let us know what you got in your career matches.
I am a historian, what a shock, or a high school teacher, or an archivist.
Okay, so at least we know it's accurate, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty accurate. It's pretty accurate here. Okay, awesome. So you'll see that the matches actually change. You will probably see those as excellent matches, but your students will also get other matches as well. They're going to be matched to all the careers within Xello. After taking that first matchmaker assessment, they can go ahead and take the personality styles assessment, which will stack on to make the matches more refined. And then the last one we'll take is the mission complete. And all of these are prerequisites for the lesson as well. Your students, according to this.
If you leave, if you want to go to another site on your computer, it knocks you out.
So what do you mean?
Like I wanted to go look at something else on the computer and left the tab open, but it knocked me out. So I think
I'm not sure about that.
Well, it did.
Okay. What browser are you using?
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever the school has.
Okay, so that's the first time I've heard of someone say it knocks them out. Usually once you open up another tab, the other tab stays open. I'm not sure why it knocked you out, but for now, just stay on the Xello tab, okay?
Yeah. Yeah,
all right, thank you. All right, so after doing that quick activity, now you should be able to see some of those career options here. Now that you're able to see some of those career options, you can go ahead and click on View All. When you click on View All, you will be able to see some of those careers that your students will be going into. And this is more so for that career exploration part, because once you have gone in and completed that, once the student has gone in and completed the matchmaker, they will be able to explore. They'll be able to explore and then start making some choices on what careers they would like to see the most, how much money they would like to achieve in those specific careers. Maybe they want to make 80 figures, excuse me, I wish, 6 figures. Maybe they want to go ahead and make a 6-figure salary. They can go ahead and choose some of these filters here. Maybe they're not looking into 4-year college, they're looking into 2-year technical school, or maybe they want to work straight out of high school. They'll be able to see career demands. So say, for example, looking into careers that are high or increasing demand. They will also be able to see clusters. Within Xello, we have 16 clusters. Your students are in middle school, they possibly might not know exactly what career they want to go into, but usually they'll know what field. Xello will give them some suggestions, but they can also choose out of these 16 clusters for more exploration. We also have subject area. Some of our students gravitate to careers that are closer to the subject area that they like, so they can also click on subject areas as well. And as you can see, the career options are decreasing as I make some more options. So for example, engineering, technology, and education, now it's down to 8 careers. So if I click on that, now it's going to show the student their excellent to poor matches in terms of these actual filters that they actually put in. Okay, so George says it's not letting me register my account through the school district portal. So if it's not letting you go through the district portal, I will go ahead and repeat it. You can go to Xello.world. You can go ahead and go through Xello.world. On the top right corner, you will see sign in. Just go ahead and click having trouble sign in and just reset your password. So it could be something's going on with your district single sign-on, or it could be that you do, okay, Erin says, do you teach a course coded career planning at the end? So it also could be that as well. And if that's not the case, you can go ahead and follow along with us as we're going through the training, okay? All right. So scrolling down here, we're able to see the actual careers. Your students will start exploring, and I will be going through some of those prerequisites as we explore. So say, for example, your student clicks on web developer, they'll be able to see how much money they would make in that career. They will be able to see the amount of education needed in terms of high school, 2-year technical school, or 2-year college, or 4-year college. They will see a job description of that actual career. They will also be able to find out why they were matched to this specific career, because they're taking assessments. They want to know why they were matched. They can click on find out why. They will be able to see the central, secondary, and other aspects of why they were a good match for that specific career. Students will also be able to save those careers. So with the prerequisites that I was talking about, so one of the prerequisites is actually saving those careers. So after you've gone in and looked at your guide here, so for example, decision making is a self-paced module. You can have the students complete that module. And if you want to use the additional resources with that full lesson plan, that is an option for you as well. Then we have interests, careers. It is a teacher-led. You'll be able to go ahead and just lead the teacher. Lead the student, excuse me. You'll just lead the student to go ahead and complete that My Interest area and the My Careers as well. So they're going to be adding those 3 saved careers. They would have to have taken that matchmaker assessment first, seen those careers that they are interested in, and then start saving them here. So I did want to show you what that looks like. So in your direction to the student, after they've gone in, done that about me, taken the matchmaker assessment, now you've led them down to...
Excuse me. Are the students enrolled?
So, so the students should be automatically enrolled. Right now, we have a huge data dump, as some might say, file going through right now. So hopefully in the coming weeks, all the students will be in, if not this week, next week. All the students will be in, and then you can go ahead and start with them there.
Yeah, and I can help answer that. The quick answer is yes. All students, if you've had a course that's coded as and career planning at the end, then yes, since the beginning of the year, all students are rostered in. The issue we've had is that any new students we're having issues with, if there's any new students in those courses. But students from the beginning of the year, yes, should already be rostered in.
All right, thank you. So
Thank you.
All right, so as the students go through the profiles, they're going to be saving those careers. And the way they save the careers is by clicking on that heart on the right side. They can, of course, explore some more if they'd like. They're basically doing their own investigative work by looking through those career profiles. On the right side, they'll be able to look at similar careers that they might want to look at, what clusters the careers are involved in. They will also be able to look at an interview from a male and female perspective, get advice from these 2 people. We have recorded advice for them, the pros and cons of the job, because we really want them to know exactly what the job entails, a day in the life of that specific career, questions and answers to, answers to their most common questions, a breakdown of activities of that career on those profiles as well. They'll also be able to look at career demand. We're constantly getting information from the Department of Ed. I don't think Palm Beach information is in yet, but it will be. And then the students will scroll down. They can look at core tasks, workplace, environment. They can definitely look at working conditions, earnings, how much money they would make. So we do have some of that information here from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics for how much money they'd make on a specific profile in Palm Beach. So they can definitely look at their Palm Beach district to see how much money they'd make if they want to, stay and be in the workforce, a part of your community. And they can also change their state, their region, their zip code from here as well. Scrolling down, we have a sample career path, which will definitely help with that career planning aspect of it. And then we also have education and training, which basically just tells them exactly what they need to do in order to get into this field. Then the students can definitely look into different majors at the bottom, and all of these majors lead to that specific career. I'm just going to click on computer programming as a general major. And then you will be able to see the next one, and this is the majors profile. The students can also save major, and this can also be a prerequisite, but I do not believe, if I'm not mistaken, let me just go ahead and refer back to this trusty planning sheet here. So for now, it's not going to be one of prerequisites for any of these courses. So you don't have to pay too much attention to majors, like in terms of saving them, but that is also an option for the student. They can also save specific majors that they like, and this can help with the career planning as well. They will be able to see typical courses for the specific major, and this can definitely help in that career planning aspect as well, in terms of figuring out what classes within, when the counselors are helping them plan out their 4 years of high school, what classes would they possibly might want to take more AP math classes, or maybe some more AP English classes to meet some requirements that they're going to need when they go into college. So here we have schools that offer this major. They'll be able to look into those schools as well. I'm going to go ahead and click on Broward College, for example. Then we also have schools profiles as well. They can also save those school profiles. They can look into an overview of the college, the top majors, campus life, student body demographics. They can even take a tour of the campus within Xello as well. So these are just some of the things that that your students can actually do while they're in Xello, going through all those different areas in terms of exploration. I do want to click on the Explore button just to show you something really quickly at the bottom here. So when the student clicks on Explore, they'll be able to see those 3 areas of exploration: the careers that they're going to save for those prerequisites, the schools, the majors. They'll also be able to see pathways here at the bottom. So if they would like to look into any pathways, this is a good place to direct them in order to find out a little bit more about technical or vocational school. We have videos that'll let them know more about that different pathway, sample careers, finances, what finances typically look like, requirements for that pathway, etc. So that is also something that they would also possibly want to look into a little bit more for the career planning aspect that you're going to be helping with as well. And then I do want to show you plans as the next area. But before I go into that plans area, I do want to go back home and talk a little bit more about those lessons, okay? So does anyone have any questions? I do want to pause and make sure everyone knows exactly what they need to do and there's no confusion whatsoever. You can also put a 1 in the chat if you'd like to do it that way. So does everyone have a good grasp on what is needed, what needs to be done? I do want to make sure. You can go ahead and put a 1 in the chat. And if there's anything that you want me to review, definitely I will review it. All right, I'm going to take that silence as everyone is on the same accord and knows exactly what they have to do. All right, so going back to this document here, the first thing you're going to be doing, that about me, you're leading them to the about me so that the students can go in and complete that matchmaker assessment, do some of the other things that they're going to be needing to do. And for example, going in and completing those interests and selecting some of those careers after going into Matchmaker. They will be going ahead and doing the decision-making module, and it is self-paced, and it has a nice little time frame for you all. Scrolling down, here are the other courses that the students will be doing, self-paced. They will be doing their prerequisites, adding at least 5 interests in their About Me, saving at least 3 careers. They will be going in and doing that school subjects at work lesson as well, which is a self-paced module. And all of those self-paced modules that we were talking about are housed in this area here in 8th grade. So anyone who has that career planning course, this is what your students will be doing right here. The first lesson, like we said, was decision making. And when your student goes into a lesson, by the way, decision making is not a good example because it doesn't have a prerequisite, but if your students click on the actual lesson, before they're able to unlock the lesson, it will let them know that they need to do the prerequisites. So for example, adding at least 5 interests to your profile, saving 3 careers that you like. So for those of you who are on Xello right now, what you can do is go ahead and click on this little hyperlink here, and it will actually take you to the area that the student needs to complete the prerequisite with. And the students can also do this as well, just as a note. So adding 5 interests to the profile, it'll take you to that interest area. There are 6 categories, excuse me, in that interest area. If the student has an interest in science, they can click on it. Maybe they're interested in computer programming. Maybe they're interested in biology. They can go ahead and go to games and recreation. They can go ahead and click on any other interest that they might have. Maybe one of their interests is scuba diving. Maybe one of their interests is chess. All they have to do is go ahead and click on any of these interests, maybe animals, and then that just lets you know that they have completed that prerequisite right here. The next one, saving 3 careers. They can go ahead and click on Explore Careers. It will take them to that hyperlink. They can start looking at more of the careers. So as you can see, we already have one here. Maybe the student wants to look into other careers. For example, stationary engineer. They'll go ahead, they'll click Save, and then they will pick a different career. I'm just going to pick on this one, press Save. Now, when the student goes back, they can always go through the back button right here on the left. They will be able to see now the lesson is now open to them. And these are the self-paced modules that the students will be going in and completing. I do want to go in and look at the module with you all just so you can see what the student are doing really, really quickly. So it says it'll take 20 to 30 minutes for the student to complete. All they have to do is press Get Started. And then it will usually, with our lessons, they are story driven most of the time, and it will bring back some of those students' interests that they have actually saved so that they can reflect on them. So here it's going to have a story about author and his interests. The students will start the activity. It'll ask them questions, and most of the time it's either drag and drop, true or false, multiple choice. So for example, select 3 ways author could explore his interest in nature. So then it will ask some questions. If the student gets the answer wrong, it will not push them forward. If they select the correct answer or all the correct answers, they will they will be able to, move on to the next question. And that is all you need to do for the self-directed modules. All you have to do is guide this student to the actual module. They'll complete it, and then they're good to go. You'll know that they have completed the next one, okay? Is everyone clear on that for the actual lessons?
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, I just joined the meeting because I was driving from work. And question, are you going to send out like a
Yes.
Okay, good. Because that
yes,
would
there's going to be a
step
recording.
by step what we got to do.
Yes, so
Okay.
there is a recording. I am recording this here as we speak, so I will be sending that as well.
Thank you.
All right, awesome. So
I'm
that
not
is
clear.
it.
Wait, don't go. I'm not clear where you find these lessons.
Okay, so
I
remember,
clicked on moving up to high school, but that didn't do me anything. Okay.
what do you mean moving up to high school?
I clicked on home
Okay, so just I'm gonna mute you because you do have some back noise, but I'm gonna explain it to you over here. So once you log into Xello, I'm pretty sure you're able to get into that demo account. You go in, you choose the institute. Well, we probably won't choose the institution. This is probably just on Minds. So don't worry about choosing the institution. What you're gonna go ahead and do, you'll choose the grade level that you're serving. You're gonna click View a Student. When you click View a Student, the lessons are right here. You see where it says Core Lessons? These are the lessons that you're going to be completing with the students. And as you can see from that planning sheet that was given out to every single one of you, you will see the name, the task, and the name of the lessons that are your responsibility. So for example, decision making right here.
Decision making.
Correct. It says decision making, and then it lets you know that this is a self-paced module. So basically, all you're going to be doing is guiding the student to the module in Xello. So the student will be logging in. They will see this view once they log in. All you're going to do is say, hey, this is the first task that you have. Complete this decision making. The students are going to press get started, and then they're going to start and complete the module. Does that sound good?
Got it. Yep, perfect.
Right.
Thank you.
Awesome.
And now my noise.
So, yes. All right. So that is one of the things that you're going to be doing according to the document. So you're going to go in all the ones that say self-paced module. You as educators in the classroom with the career planning course, you're going to direct the students here in order to just go in and complete them. And they are all in order, okay? So they are all in order of the sheet that Erin has made for you all. And
Would you think that it
directions.
takes, so do you think each lesson takes about 30 minutes?
So it depends. Because the lesson will let you know. And this sheet also, Erin has kindly enough put the time that it will take the student to complete as well, okay? So it depends on the lesson. So for example, as you can see, the decision making, it should take them around 25 minutes to complete. Interest is around 15 minutes. And the teacher-led just means that you are directing them to that area, okay? So for example, as you can see, we have this little interest module here. All you're going to go ahead and do, direct the student to go to this module or this lesson within Xello. They're going to complete it, and they're going to just be knocking them off one by one in this exact order.
Okay.
All right. So last thing in the student side before I go to the educator side, because I do want to make sure that now that you all know exactly what you have to do with the lessons, that you know how to track the lessons as well. But I'm going to go ahead and take you to the last place in the student section first. So here we have plans. When you go to plans, this is where you can help the counselors with the career planning aspect of going in and creating those academic career plans. So as you can see, we have make future plans here. This one, the student can also click on make a plan. When the student goes into make a plan, this is where they can actually go in and start creating 1 plan, 2 plans, 3 plans. It doesn't matter. They can make as many plans as they'd like. Usually we'd like a plan and a backup plan, and they would put the career that they are most interested in. So for example, maybe the student is most interested in being a nurse. They will go ahead after that exploration, after doing all those great lessons in Xello, they're going to pick the pathway that they possibly want to go into. So maybe they want to be a nurse and they're going to go through technical school. They'll click on next. They'll go ahead and they'll get a to-do list of things that Xello will suggest for them to do in their plan. Once they click on done, they can see the to-do list. If they want to add their own tasks, they definitely can. So for example, maybe they want to job shadow someone or look up videos. It doesn't have to necessarily be job shadow. They can YouTube. They can look on YouTube videos for the actual career they're going to go into. They can look up YouTube videos about nursing, right? So that can also be something on their checklist. Xello gives them some things to do. They don't necessarily have to do all of them, but they can check them off as they're going through in their to-do list. They'll be able to look into what pathway they possibly want to go into, and they'll be able to look up the pathway here by clicking on the pathway. They'll go ahead and add some careers. And this little add button here just goes in and shows all their saved careers. Okay, so if they pick the specific career, for example, here are some careers that they saved. They can also just search up the career. So for example, nursing, maybe they want to select that and add it to their plan. They can do that. Maybe they want to add registered nurse. Let's see. Or nurse practitioner, either one. So nurse practitioner, they can add that as also a career option. And then they can also add some notes on why they like the career and things like that. And this can definitely help with the counselors because they will be the ones actually creating those 4-year plans. Your job is to set them up for success by having the students complete the lessons. Does that make sense for everyone? Also, I do want to note that we have like a little commitment button here. How do you create 2 plans? I'll show you. So we have a commitment button here, and it will let them the student choose if they're going for it, still considering it, or if they've ruled out the actual plan. So let's say, for example, the student is still considering it. All they would have to do at the end of creating this plan right here is go back to their plans because they've already started it. They can go back to the plan, and there is the plan here. To create a secondary plan, they can just press Add Plan here. So go ahead and click on Add Plan, and they can just create as many as they'd like. Now, for what the counselors are doing, this is not anything that you all will be doing. The counselors are going to be making 4-year plans with the student. So I'm just going to go over it really quickly with you all. The counselors are making 4-year plans with the student in Xello through the course planner. We have the course codes up for Palm Beach. The students will plan their courses accordingly with the help of the counselor, with you setting them up for success by having those career plans, by having the student, complete those lessons within Xello. Now the counselor can set them up for success and create these plans, these 4-year plans with the student. And just to give you a little bit of insight on how this works, counselors are able to plan based off of the requirements of the diploma the student is actually going to be achieving or getting at the end of their high school. So of course we have the 4-year 24 credit standard diploma, and then we also have other pathways, but this is only for the counselors. They are the ones that have to worry about this, or they are the ones that have to do this with the student. It's not a requirement for you, but the counselors will make sure that the students have all their requirements for the 24 credit standard diploma. How do they plan? They will plan by clicking on these credits that the student needs. So for example, all the students need one, on all 4 years of high school, they need one English course, English 1, 2, 3, 4. They will need 4 or 3 maths, depending on what they're doing. And then of course they'll need the science course and etc. Your students will be going through and adding the courses with the counselor. All you all are doing is setting the counselors up for success. So you don't necessarily have to worry about the course planner. Of course, you should communicate with your counselors, making sure that all of this stuff is done and that you all know when the counselors will be doing the course planning with the students. But your job as career planning teachers is to guide the students around Xello, use this document here to make sure that the students are doing those self-paced modules. For example, decision-making, going in and completing the interest one, going in and doing the school subject at work, going in and, doing discovering learning pathway modules. Your job is to help the students and guide them and direct them to these modules so that they can complete them. And of course, they're going to be exploring in their time with you in your career planning time. In the classroom, they will have you can have the students go ahead, create a plan, maybe a plan, maybe a backup plan, and then the counselors will be going into course planner and planning out the 4 years of courses with the actual students. So give me a 1 in the chat if that is extremely clear for you all and that you all understand your role as career planning teachers. All right, awesome. I like to see the ones. Any questions before I move on to the educator side?
I understand. I hope the guidance understands.
I did meet with them. I do want to let you all know that I did meet with them. I met with all the counselors and they all know I definitely emphasize to all of them because I too used to be a teacher. I too was a teacher and I let them know exactly what they have to do. They know that their job is to do the career, the actual 4-year planning. And some of them, depending on the site, I know that they're going to be supporting you as well. Depends on the school site, of course. But they do know that you all are doing the lessons and that they also have their role as well. All right. Okay, awesome. So what we're going to go ahead and do, I'm going to take you to the educator side and I just want to show you how to look at reports in order to know if your student has actually, completed the courses and everything so that you guys can have your ducks in a row. All right, so we're going to go ahead and head back to the educator side. So we're heading back to the educator side. How do you, as a career planning teachers, know if your students have completed the lessons? First thing I want to do is show you the lessons in sequence from the educator side. How do you get there? On the left side here, on the left side, you're going to click on features, and then you're going to click on lessons. Right here, these 8th grade lessons, this is your focus, okay? This is your focus. Your focus is going to be these 8th grade lessons, making sure that the students have completed the lessons. If you want to look into the lessons, you can definitely do that by looking in here. It'll give you a nice little preview of what the students are doing. Estimated time, if it has a prerequisite, it will let you know as well. Okay, so this can also be a nice little point of reference for you in Xello. Okay, go to features, lessons. This will take you to your lesson sequence within Xello. You'll be able to click into the lessons and you'll be able to see a nice little preview. You'll see prerequisites and how much time it will take as well. So you can definitely go through there to look at the lessons. Now to look at reports.
I'm lost.
Okay, tell me where you're lost. You want to know how to get to that area?
I am back at decision making, get started, grade 8.
Okay, so you are in the student account. You need to move on from the student account and go back to the educator side. So I believe you went through Xello.world. You can just go back through there if you close the tab.
Okay, go back.
Of course, no problem. The next one is going to be reports. So you'll scroll down on the left side, click on reports. When you click on reports, you will click on student work. You will click on student work. When you click on student work, I'm just going to slide this in here. When you click on student work, you can actually see everything that your student has done. For example, any suggested careers they got in Xello, you'll be able to see, for example, here are the top suggested careers for Palm Beach as a whole. The top suggested career is artists. Just to give you an example, you will be able to see top personality styles. You won't see skills lab because it's only for high school, so don't worry about that. You'll see top personality style. So most of your students are persuaders, okay? You'll be able to see all of these different reports. Some of your students actually have already gone in and saved schools, colleges. And of course, you'll be able to see your top saved careers. Fun fact, professional athlete is the top saved career in all of United States. And you'll also be able to see all these other things that you might want to look into for your student work. So student work, now, if you would like, you can go into lesson progress at the bottom. This is where you're going to track all your students' lessons. So as you can see, some of your students have already started. So 6% of your students have completed some lessons. And then we have 69, which is what we're going to be working on. 25 are in progress. Now, I'm going to show you the best reports from my teacher lens to yours, the best report for you all, in my opinion. I'm going to show you the other reports, but this one, in my opinion, is the best one. You won't see this report right here, so you can just ignore this. Completion by lesson. This is the one that I recommend that you go through, okay? And I'm going to tell you why I recommend that you go through this one. When you press completion by lesson, you are going to see all the lessons. What I want you all to do is filter your lessons. And you can do it in two ways. Either you look for all 8th grade lessons, and then you go ahead and select your name. So your name should be an option. You're only seeing these names because I'm in the district account, so don't worry about that. You're going to click 8th grade. You're going to go ahead and pick yourself, okay? When you pick yourself, you will hit apply. After choosing those two options, you'll hit apply. When you do that, it will pull up all the 8th grade lessons. And the reason why I say this lesson is the best one is because you can line it up to this sheet here. So for example, the first self-paced module that you have to do is decision making. Say, for example, you have gone ahead and done it with your class already. That is the first lesson that you guys did. You can click on the decision making lesson right here. And then what you can do is going to pull up all the kids in your classroom. And then what you can do is just go to the left, hit on all statuses. So now it'll just give you a whole list of the students based off what you're doing first, which is decision making, and then hitting on who has completed decision making. Now you see all your completed students. Who is in progress. Now you'll be able to see all your in progress students. Who has not started at all?
No students.
Okay, so you don't have any students. Don't worry. By the time you're doing this, you will have students. Don't worry about that. Because like I said, and like Erin said, we are inputting student data. So don't worry about it. Your students will be in by the time you start doing the lessons with them. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and review this one more time because I do want to make sure that everyone gets it and knows where to go for the lessons. I do have a question from Katie. Can you review how to get to this page again? Yeah, that's what I was about to do. All right. So I'm trying to sort out my group. Okay, so on your educator dashboard, once you log in, what you will do to get to reports, you will click on reports on the left side here, go into lesson progress. You'll click lesson progress. From lesson progress, I'm going to go over all the other reports, but this one is the one that I think will help you all the most in being more, proactive in checking the lessons. And it will give you a nice view of seeing who has completed it or not. You will go to the right. You will click on completion by lesson. When you click on completion by lesson, you will see all the lessons. You're going to sort them. You will filter on the right. You will click on your 8th grade, and then you will find yourself an educator, and then you can also just click on yourself. Now, Katie made a good point. In terms of groups. I know some of the teachers decided to create their own groups. If you have done that, you can just go to the group that you created, select the group as well. So either you can go by your name or your group. And I'll show you the groups a little bit later because I don't want to get off topic. You'll click apply. Once you click apply, you will go and look at the sequence that you have here. So this is your sequence. Based off of the document that Erin has and Robert has put out to all of you all, you're just going to follow this order. Decision making is the first one that you do. You're going to go in, click on decision making. You will be able to see all status. You can go ahead and click on that drop-down menu for all status. Say, for example, it's day 1, you did the decision-making lesson. Now you just want to make sure that the students have completed it. You can just go to not started, look at the whole list of students in your class or the students that you're serving that have not started it. You can, of course, send a message to them as well, letting them know that this needs to be completed by whatever date. You can send them a message, and you can go ahead and look at the ones that are still in progress for some reason they did not finish. And then you can also look at all of your completed students. All right. So that is one way that you can actually look at all of those lessons. So you can just knock them out one by one by doing it that way. And then I also seen someone said, they need help logging in. So you either log in through your Palm Beach portal, or you have to make sure that you have a career planning code attached to your a course code as well. So if you don't have that, you might not have been in the sync. So maybe that's why it's not appearing. I did want to note that, but you would go through your Palm Beach portal. And if the Palm Beach portal did not go through with you, you can go through Xello.world. And on the right side of Xello.world, you will see sign in. You will click on having trouble signing in. Oh, you're a school counselor. Okay. So you should be able to see, the link in your Palm Beach portal. Okay. Sorry for getting off track, you guys. So just going back, just letting you know how to get to reports again. You will click on reports on the left. You will go ahead and click on lesson progress. The report that I just showed you was completion by lesson. The next one that you can go to is completion by grade. So this one, it will give you a whole little chart on how how much of your 8th grade students have completed. And of course, you can always look here where it says in progress, not started. And of course, you can filter to your class as well. So you can go to 8th grade only, pick yourself as an educator, pick your group, click apply. Now it's only going to show 8th grade. Now you can see in total all that has completed, all that are in progress, and all who have not started for yourself. So you're only concerned with yourself. All right. So that is also an option. So as you can see, there is that menu here as well. And of course, you can also click on, the actual percentage, and that will give you the list. So for example, clicking on all the not started, it will give you the list of students who have not started as well. Okay, so that's another way of looking at it. The other way, or the last way, is by student. So completion by student, you will click on the grade level. It will pull up all of the students. And of course, we're going to go to, give it a second because I am on the district account with all the students. What you're going to do, you're going to filter. And of course, we're going to go ahead and choose our group or ourselves as an educator here. Hit apply, because I already picked 8th grade, so it's going to pull up all the 8th graders. Now it will show you all of the students that you serve, and it will show you all of the lessons. So all the lessons they have to complete are all here. So it will show up all of them. So for me, this one would be the best one if you want to print them all out and just double check. You can go to data options here and then export everything into an Excel spreadsheet. And to be honest, you can do that with the other lessons as well if you'd like. So it doesn't only apply to by student. You can also do completion by lesson, which is the one that I recommended for you all to do, to look at the lessons one by one. You can 100% export the list of students as well. For example, let me just go to decision making again. You can also just go to data options and export that data as well based off of what you're looking at. So if you want a list of all the students that completed, you can go ahead and go to data options and just put it into Excel spreadsheet. All right, so number 1 in the chat, if you are confident in knowing how to go in and look at lesson reports to make sure the students have completed those modules or those, yes, the lessons or the modules. That's what's stated in the document. So go ahead and put a 1 in the chat. Put a 2 in the chat if you need a little bit more if you want to review. I'm totally okay with that as well. All right. All right, thank you. So I will review it again for you all just to make sure that you all know everything. And then we'll just wrap up because we are at the end of the training as well. All right. So in order
Ms.
to...
Olbas?
Yes.
When are we supposed to be implementing this?
So you can implement it as soon as the students have access to go into Xello. Okay, so as soon as the students have access to go into Xello, so for example, if you don't see your students in there, we are working on getting all of them in there. If they're already in there, go ahead, you can start as soon as possible. If I'm not mistaken, Aaron, you can go ahead and chime in as well.
Yeah, and I just wrote in the chat there, if you look at the sheet we provided that has the lessons, there is a suggested timeline. Ultimately, the timeline's up to you. Your responsibility is simply ensure that
they receive this lesson.
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
Okay.
That they complete the lessons by the end of the school year. Now, I do want to note that the timeline is off. And the reason why the timeline is off is because this is how it would be if we started in August. We're not starting in August, so we're starting in, as soon as February. So what I would definitely say is that you can start as soon as possible. The end goal, if I'm not mistaken, Aaron, is to make sure that these are completed by the end of the school year.
Yeah. This is similar to any scope and sequence, right? It's just a suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
Your responsibility as the educator is just to ensure that the required state standards get covered. So.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Yes. So go ahead, look at this, and just knock them off one at a time. As we went over before, your job as the career planning educators is to go in, follow this, basically this scope and sequence. Go ahead and follow each and every single one of these. Go ahead and have the students complete those self-paced modules. As you can see, they're going to go ahead and complete all of these one by one in the student section. After you're done completing those with the students in the classroom or having those students complete them by guiding them to those modules, you will, I'm going to repeat this over again, you will go to reports on the left right here. You will click on reports. You will go to lesson progress. When you go to lesson progress, you're checking to make sure that the students have completed those lessons so that your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed. The ones that I recommend is completion by lesson. If you go to completion by lesson, you will be able to filter those lessons. You're going to go to 8th grade lessons. You're going to either pick yourself as an educator, or you're going to pick your group if you had created a group before. You're going to click apply. You will see those lessons in that same sequence as this open sequence here. And all you're going to be doing is making sure that the students completed them by clicking on that lesson, checking the status of your students. So for all the students who've completed, you'll be able to see all of them. For all the students who are in progress, who need to, get on it, you can go ahead and just let them know, hey, I've seen that you're at 50%, finish this lesson. And then of course, for the not starteds, they need to start and complete it, right? And that's just one way to look at the reports. There are 2 other ways that I showed you before, and I'm going to show you it again. There is completion by grade. If you click on grade, you can go ahead and filter, choose 8th grade, choose yourself or your group if you created one, hit apply. You will be able to see all your completeds, all your in progress, all your not starteds as well. If you want, you can just click on them. Just make sure that all the students, by the time you're done, just know that all the students, it should say 100%. It should say 100% in all and completed for each one of those lessons, right? And then the last one, this is a great one if you want to just print it out when you're finished. You can look at all of your 8th grade students. It will pull up all the lessons at once right here, as you can see. You'll filter to yourself, of course, or your group. And then, of course, you can go ahead and export it into an Excel spreadsheet as well, just to make sure that you're all good. All right, does everyone give me a 1 in the chat if you were able to get that, and that you know exactly what you have to do now that this training is over in order to make sure that you're setting the counselors up for success. I can tell you that the counselors do know exactly what they have to do in order to do their part. I just want to go ahead and clarify for you all as well. All right, I see some ones. I see the ones. That's exactly what I wanted to see. And I do want to say that's pretty much it for this specific training. If anyone has
I have a question.
Oh no, I'm not gonna leave you guys just yet. I'm not gonna leave you guys just yet. I did want to go over resources, and I also have a survey for you all. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in the chat. If you can go ahead and complete that for me, that would be amazing. And I'll open up the floor for questions now. If you have any questions.
Do the kids have an app in their portal for this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So they will be using
tomorrow.
single sign-on.
Okay.
They will be doing single sign-on, and hopefully everything will get squared away, and you all will be doing single sign-on as well, for those of you who weren't able to do it today. Anyone else? I'm okay with reviewing anything as well. If you'd like. Does anyone need any reviews? I'm totally okay with that. You can put it in the chat. When is the training for counselors? Oh, the training for the counselors happened already. They all should know. They all should know. We are having refresher trainings for the counselors as well. So give me a second. Let me share that with you. Robert should have sent out a memo to all the middle school counselors as well, but I will let you know when the refresher is. And I also am having office hours as well for you all and for the counselors. But the next counselor training is, let's see. The next counselor training is March 26th. For helping students make a more informed course planner, and that one has to do with the career and academic planning. If you'd like, I will put my email in the chat for you. Email me, and I do have the recordings from the other counselor training. If you'd like, I can definitely send that over to you as well. Just want to set you up for success. So if you'd like, you can definitely email me, and then I will send you the recording and the slide deck for the previous counselor trainings as well. Okay. And I will be sending this recording to you all of today. I will be sending the recording and a slide deck for you all for today so you all can review it. And I do want to note that we are also having another training for career planning teachers, and it is February 19th, but this one is going to be in person. So we're going to be in person from 1 to 2:30. And let me just make sure I know it's going to be at Park Vista High School. So definitely, if you would like to come in, get a refresher, and you want to ask me questions, feel free to come to that training as well. More the merrier. All right. So does Erin, do you have any ending announcements that you'd want to make, or?
Nope, you hit it with that last announcement, so thank you. I'll just be following up
Okay.
to everybody with a follow-up email, so thank you, everybody. And thank you,
Okay.
Sophia.
All right.
Very much appreciated, and we'll see you in February at Park Vista.